Hi, I'm Amiel. This is my sound and light show, and this is my final video. Since last time, I've added a whole sound system, where before, you can only control the motors using these potentiometers over here. Now I've added it so that it'll actually play songs, and then the motors will react to the volume, and it'll turn them faster depending on how loud it is. My main problems while doing this were I had to connect my second Arduino, which is an Uno, to my original Leonardo. And this was very hard because the motor shield uses pretty much all the pins, and I had to figure out which pins it didn't use by looking through the libraries, which was annoying and complicated. Okay, so this is the power jack over here. I plug that into an outlet where it gets 12 volts. This is the power switch. It turns the whole system on. This is a new one. It switches between modes. So if I have it on this side, see this little silver line? If I have it on this side, it's manual mode, and I control it with these potentiometers. And if I turn it to the other side over here, then it's musical mode, and it plays songs depending on where this is positioned. So for instance, this would be like song number 1, that could be song number 2, song number 3, etc. This is song reset button. So once I have it on musical mode, I have to press this button to activate the song, and then if I want to reset it or switch to a new song, I have to press that. This turns on the laser if it's up, and turns it off if it's down. These still control the motors, motor 1, motor 2, motor 3, and these control it one direction, these control it in the other direction, and it gets faster depending on how far it is from the middle. Okay, so once the power comes through the power jack over here, it goes through these green wires and then into this. Now, I soldered together all the wires that get 12 volts, all the ground wires in the 12 volts, and then over here, I soldered together all the wires that get 5 volts and all the wires that go to the ground near the 5 volts. This is just to prevent some of the mess and confusion if I have them all plugged into one massive breadboard, and it also allowed me to put a smaller breadboard over here as opposed to the big one, which saves a lot of space, especially now that I have 2 Arduinos with 2 shields. Now, the 12 volts power both of the Arduinos. I have an Uno over here with an Adafruit wave shield, and I have a Leonardo over here with an Adafruit motor shield. And those each get 12 volts. It also goes to the voltage regulator over here, which produces 5 volts, which powers pretty much everything else. So the 5 volts powers the motor shield. It also powers the potentiometers, because they each need 5 volts, so I can turn them between 5 volts and ground. And that is over here, as I showed you before. The laser is connected to the Uno over here, and I can switch it on and off because this is getting a constant 5 volt supply. And there's this wire over here connects the Uno and the Leonardo so that they can tell each other which mode they're supposed to be on. The laser diode is connected again to the switch, and the other 2 wires are connected to the 5 volts on the ground. These motors over here are connected to the motor shield on these screw terminals, and then over here the Uno has to power the speaker because it's making the music with the wave shield. So it goes over here to the audio amp, which makes it louder, because if I'm presenting to an audience, for instance on Parents' Night, it has to be a lot louder than the Adafruit wave shield can do by itself. And then over here, the audio amp goes to the speaker, which is on this side, and this is the one that makes the sound. Then over here, you'll notice a microphone, and that's what hears the sound waves that the speaker produces, and it puts it to the Leonardo over here, which can control the motors because it's connected to the motor shield. Here's a video of the light show working. So this is manual mode, where I can control the motors by turning potentiometers on the side. So you can see I can make different shapes just by the speed of the motors. And then here is musical mode, where I can play a song and it will react. So the louder the song gets, the faster the motors spin.